This is my Begode aka Gotway MSP, the high torque version. Recently I got a chance to ride the Begode / Gotway RS, which is their newest iteration of this wheel. I'm going to compare them and I'll tell you 3 reasons why I think this may be the better wheel of the two, and I'll tell you 3 reasons why the RS may be the better wheel of the two. Reason number 1 I prefer the MSP over the RS is the lift to disengage switch is on the side. Now, I don't like having the lift to disengage switches under the handle. I had that on my Monster. It puts a lot of weight on it when you lift it up on that little plastic lever, and there have been instances where those have broken down, and it's just more ergonomic to have just the handle. I like this on the side here. That's just my personal preference, but it's a pro for me on the MSP. Reason number 2 I prefer the MSP over the RS is currently the MSP has higher pedal clearance compared to the RS. Now, I've heard they're going to raise the hangers on the RS to get the higher pedal clearance, but as of right now, the MSP wins in that category, and the high pedal clearance is absolutely essential when you're riding trails, so if you hit obstacles, you don't clip your pedals. Reason number 3 the MSP may be a better choice than the RS is that you won't have to replace bearings. So the RS has a hollow core motor, which is a huge advantage, and we'll get to that in a bit, but the disadvantage with that is the bearings are very large, and large bearings are expensive. So what the factory does is put in some cheapo bearings. There have been instances of the bearings failing, and then what you have to do is you have to replace the bearings, which is a very labor-intensive process, and ideally you want to upgrade to higher quality bearings, which are pretty expensive. So that's another win for the MSP. Let's get to the advantages of the RS, with the number 1 being the hollow motor. Now, the bearing is a disadvantage as I just talked about, but overall the hollow motor is a huge advantage, and there's a few reasons for that. Firstly, as you can see on the left, there's a hole right in the middle of the motor, so you can put thicker wire gauges, and these will be essential, especially since these motors keep becoming more and more powerful. Their watts are going higher, so you will require more current going through those wires. Another advantage is no more broken axles or bent pedal hangers. The hanger is secured in a way that's much sturdier now. There's not a thin little axle supporting the weight of the pedal hangers. So this is going to be great for those who are doing jumps or riding trails and hitting big bumps. You won't have a broken axle anymore, essentially. Another advantage of the RS is that it has dual charging ports, whereas this MSP has 1. Now, personally, to me, this is not a big deal. I can charge this at 8 amps, which is fast enough for me. The third main advantage of the RS is it has 6,000 lumen headlights. This is my MSP, and it has the 3,000 lumen headlights, so the headlights are twice as bright. Now, you have a few other things like the LED strips, which are a lot better looking on the RS, but that's just an aesthetic advantage. And lastly, the pedals, I think it's using the Monster Pro pedals, which are bigger and nicer than these pedals. And again, that's not a big deal either because you can put the same pedals on the MSP as well. That's a quick down and dirty comparison. Hope that was helpful. Here's a photo from eWheels comparing the MSP to the RS. So which of these two should you get? Well, if you're buying new, then your only option is the RS, since the RS replaced the MSP. However, if you already own an MSP or an MSX, I see absolutely no reason to upgrade to the RS. There just isn't enough of an improvement. That being said, if I was getting a new wheel now and I had all the options, I would most likely go for the RS. When I test rode that wheel, it was so buttery smooth. The hollow motor accelerates and brakes so smoothly. The main reason I'm holding off on currently upgrading to the RS from my MSP is the low pedal clearance. That is absolutely essential to me, so unless they improve that, I'm going to be keeping my MSP.